My name is Catherine Simpson. I've been married to James for 10 years, and I think we've been getting along well. No major arguments, and our relationship is strong. We have kids, but we never fight over them. I hear stories about couples fighting over kids or a husband's affair, but I'm grateful that hasn't been my experience. Or so I was grateful. In the past tense. Just a while ago, James brought his mistress Amelia home and declared, "I've decided to give this house to Amelia." There's no room for objection. I was dumbfounded at first, not understanding what he meant. But as I saw this woman leaning on my husband and smirking at me, I realized I was being cheated on. I was the stereotypical betrayed wife. James' betrayal became clear. "So, I'm divorcing you, and you need to leave this house." Just this morning, he was eating the breakfast I made, drinking coffee as usual, and reading the newspaper. I even packed his lunch and saw him off with a "have a nice day." I had no clue about the affair. Why all of a sudden? It's not sudden. You're just too oblivious. Oblivious? Maybe I was too good at hiding it. You're good at having an affair? Yeah, I've been hiding it well. How? What do you mean? I said I was working late but was out on dates. You never suspected. Well, if you said you were working late. And you believed me when I said I was on business trips. Of course, you're my husband. And you brought back souvenirs. Those are available everywhere. I suppose, but you didn't even notice when I started not letting go of my phone. I'm always on my phone too, so I thought it was normal. I thought you were cheating, so I checked your phone. Oh, really? You checked my phone? Yeah, if you were cheating too, I wouldn't be the only one to blame. Besides, you never doubted me, nor got jealous. That must mean you're cheating, right? I'm not cheating. I went through your phone from top to bottom and didn't find a hint of cheating. You're such a boring woman. Even if you call me boring. But I was cheating. And with young and cute Amelia. She really is young. She looked to be in her mid-20s. Since James is 40, there must be a 15 to 16-year age gap. I couldn't believe a girl so young would be interested in an older guy like him. Are you being fooled? Don't be rude. Amelia would never do such a thing. Really? But why would a young girl like her be with an older guy like you? That's because I'm charming. You wouldn't understand. But just listen, I'm divorcing you. Got it? No, I don't. Just because you cheated, you want a divorce? That's so selfish. Wow, your wife is really calm. Amelia commented, looking at me. In this situation, her comment was the last thing I needed. But James responded directly to Amelia. That's right, she's always calm. That's why I said she wouldn't cry or yell even when I told her I was cheating. She's really a boring woman. It's hard to believe she really loves you, James, Amelia said. Love has long been gone. My love is only for Amelia now. It was disgusting to hear. A father of an elementary school kid, bringing home such a young woman and saying my love is. It was because of my calmness that we hadn't fought until now. I tried to stay calm, made sacrifices to keep our marriage good. And always put my husband first. And this is how he repays me? Here, look at these divorce papers. He said, showing me the printed out documents. File this quickly. I'm going to marry Amelia once we're divorced. When did you start thinking about divorce? About half a year ago. Since half a year ago. I did struggle with it, but in the end, I couldn't resist Amelia's cuteness. She's a young girl, way better than an old woman like you. Don't you think it's selfish to say that, considering you're older than me? I may be older, but I haven't forgotten how to love. But you're done with love and as a woman. How could you say that? Realizing he felt this way, I understood that divorce was inevitable. You really think that way? Yeah, you're emotionless. Talking to you is like talking to a doll, bland and unresponsive. That's probably why you don't seem like a woman. In contrast, Amelia is emotional and expressive. Isn't that because she's young? I was like that when I was young too. But being married to you, I learned expressing emotions only leads to fights. Why would it lead to fights? See, you get emotional so quickly. If both of us did that, we'd always be fighting. One of us has to be the adult. So you think you're the adult? More than you, certainly. Damn it! That's why you're not charming. Fine, I don't care if I'm not charming. After all you've said, I have no desire to continue this marriage. Let's divorce. So be it, file this. Fine, I'll submit them. But you're forgetting something important. Important? What? This house may be in your name, but we built it after we got married. So what? You don't get it. Also, this land is mine. What? So what? Don't you understand? Well, never mind. What about our child? Our child? I don't need them. They're just a nuisance. You take them, he dismissed. Is that how a parent talks? Well, I'm relieved you don't want them. I don't want a custody battle. Yeah, me neither. Once I remarry, Amelia will have cute kids. Good luck with that. I wished him, as I prepared to leave with our child. I went straight to the city court and filed for the divorce. But I wasn't going to let it end there. After submitting the papers, I was determined. Being betrayed and saying goodbye was not an option. The next day, after leaving the child with my parents, I visited a lawyer and made a request. A few months later, the mistress Amelia contacted me. What's the meaning of this? I don't understand what you're talking about. Can't you calm down? How can I be calm about this? What happened? We've received an eviction notice. Oh, that. You knew about this. Of course, I did. I had my lawyer arrange it. Why would you do that? I told you when James handed me the divorce papers. The land is mine. So what? James said the same thing. You two really are alike. It doesn't matter whose name it's in, we're living here. James said so. There's something called residency rights. So you can't just force us out. I'm not forcing you out. That's what the eviction notice is for. But if we're evicted, what happens to the house? James said he'd give it to me. Regardless of what he says, the land is mine. And now that we're divorced, I'm entitled to half the house in the property settlement. Half? You mean split the house in half? Obviously, we can't literally split a physical house in half. But in a divorce, assets made during the marriage are divided in half. You know that, right? But I was supposed to get it. Complain to James, please? As far as I'm concerned, I'm willing to hand over the house but not the land. Then what am I supposed to do? Well, eventually, I'll be taking half in the settlement. So either sell the house to come up with the money or move it somewhere else. And you'll have to pay me half the value of the house. Plus, the furniture and household items inside, since we bought them after getting married, half of those are mine too. This is just too cruel. If you have a complaint, you could always go to court. I'm doing everything legally with a lawyer. I'm not in the wrong here. Fine, fine, fine. I'll tell James. You're just belittling me because I'm young. You're saying all this nonsense because of that. That's something an old lady would do. I won't lose to that. Ridiculous. Like I said, this is all under the law. Whether you're young, lightheaded or not, that's irrelevant. What did you say? Oh, sorry. Not just lightheaded, but also promiscuous, right? I missed that part. You're the worst! She shouted, and then she seemed to hang up the phone in anger. I felt a certain satisfaction from the abruptly ended call. But of course, I didn't think this was the end. I was sure James, who was now being sobbed to by his young lover, would call me soon. And sure enough, that night, James called. Hey, Amelia is crying. Oh, did you make her cry? Did you two already have a fight? Don't joke around. It wasn't me who made her cry, it was you. Why me? I haven't even seen her. Because you sent that eviction notice. So, would you have preferred if heavy machinery suddenly demolished the house without warning? That would never be allowed. Exactly. That's why I sent the notice. I'm quite considerate, aren't I? Why are you doing this? It's unreasonable. Why is it unreasonable? I explained that the land is mine, and now that we're divorced, I'm entitled to half the house. I even explained it in a way that your young and naive girlfriend could understand. She's not stupid. I didn't say she was stupid. I just said she's naive. That's the same thing. Stupid and naive are different. You're way more stupid. Really? That's fine. Then there's no point talking to a stupid person. I'm hanging up. The conversation isn't over yet. What do you want now? You insult me and then say the conversation isn't over. You're troublesome. That house is mine. Yes, it is. For now. But the land is mine. So, you need to figure out what to do with your house on my land. Move it or leave it. Either way, half of it is mine. Why can't you just let me use the land? It's not being used anyway. I can't do that. I'm thinking of selling it. Selling it? Yes, there's no point in just holding on to it. It's better to sell it for money. Then it's better to leave things as they are. Having you use it doesn't benefit me at all. That's why I'm considering selling. That's ridiculous. It's reality. If we were still married, I wouldn't have thought about it. But now that we're strangers, it's a different story. But my house is on that land. You can't just sell the land with the house on it. I can sell it. It's perfectly legal to sell my own property. You're just trying to trouble me. It's obvious. Exactly. After the way you treated me, calling our child a nuisance, I won't spare any effort to make things difficult for you. What a person you are. Fine, then transfer the land to me. What? That way, I don't have to leave the house, and I can just pay you half the house's value. Then we can continue living here. I see your point. But I'm not planning to sell the land to you. You just said you were selling. I'd sell to someone else, but definitely not to you. What's gonna happen after selling someone? I'll get money, and whoever buys it can build their own house. Then you might as well sell it to me. No. Besides, I'll be getting half of the house in the property division eventually. Then you'll have to leave. No, I can just pay you the cash equivalent of half the value. I see. And if you're talking about property division, then I should get half of the land too. Why is that? Property division. You really don't understand. That land was left to me by my father. Remember? I inherited it. The inherited property doesn't have to be divided. But the house, built after we married, you have an obligation to give me half. That's... What should you do? Sell the house? But it's not going to sell if the landowner isn't selling the land. Exactly. So, how about this? I'll take the house. You'll take the house? Yes. Then I can sell it with the land. I'll give you half the sale price of the house. You plan to sell the house. If you leave the house, I won't sell it. But assuming I do, I'll get the house valued and give you half. Though, the house's value is probably negligible by now. What you're doing is too harsh. I don't want to hear that from someone who cheated and betrayed his wife. I'm just retaliating for what you did. If you refuse to leave, I'll take it to court, so be prepared. A few days later, James contacted me, sounding dejected. Amelia left. Oh, why is that? It's all your fault. I haven't done anything. You said we had to leave. I didn't say it, I just issued the eviction notice. It's the same thing. Amelia left because she said it's not what she was promised since she couldn't get the house. Leaving over something like that? She was just that kind of woman. You really have no eye for women. That's not a joke. Amelia was supposed to be my last woman. And now, because of you, my great love affair has ended. For a great love affair, it ended quite easily. What am I supposed to do now that she's gone? That's not my problem. Live your life however you want. You're a cold-hearted woman. I became cold-hearted because of a man like you. After what happened, it's impossible to remain a warm-hearted woman. And I'm suffering so much. That's self-inflicted. You get what you give. So, it's all my fault? That's right. You cheated with a young woman. It's natural for you to suffer. I see. But now, I've lost the will to live. Oh, my condolences. I'm still alive. I thought you lost the will to live. Look, now that Amelia is gone, don't you think there's no point in divorcing? Excuse me? I wanted to divorce because of her. But now that she's gone, there's no need for divorce. We're already divorced. Are we? I submitted the divorce papers the day you passed them to me. We're officially strangers. We made the decision too fast. Good things come to those who act quickly. Can't we start over? What? Let's remarry. That's out of the question. But remarry and live in constant fear of being betrayed again? I don't think so. I refuse to live like that. If we live together, the house will be as before. I have no intention of living in that house with you. Please leave. We're divorced, right? Amelia isn't in this house anymore. I'm aware of that. So, we should just live together. I've already asked my lawyer about property division. As soon as the calculations are done, I intend to pay you half the value of the house. I don't need that. I do. And I will also be claiming child support. But if we remarry, all that becomes unnecessary. I have no intention of remarrying. Oh, and please give me Amelia's contact information. I need to claim the rental fee from her too. Why her too? Because she was living with you, knowing or not, in the house and land in my name. She has an obligation to pay fees too. Stop it. That's cruel. She's young and doesn't have that kind of money. Oh, she works at a show bar, right? She might have more than you. How do you know that? I make sure to research thoroughly. I'm not clueless. Fine, then I'll pay. Bill me for her share too. Really? You would do that? Yeah, I don't want to make her sad. Okay, when the house valuation is done, I'll pay you for half, minus her part. Yeah, do that. About the child support, I'll be claiming it until our child graduates from college. Isn't it until they're 18? Nowadays, everyone goes to college. College is when the most money is needed, so you'll have to pay. Okay. But considering your uncertain future, relying on monthly payments might end up with you unable to pay eventually. That won't happen. You never know. So, please pay child support and other fees in one lump sum. Partly I can do in one go, but the child support in one lump sum is... You made your bed, now lie in it. I don't care about your circumstances. Pay properly for the child. I can't afford to send them to college alone. One lump sum. I really don't have that kind of money. Then borrow it and pay. All right. But remember, if you ever want to live with me again, I'm always here for you. I'll wait for you. That will never happen. After the house valuation, James' share turned out to be 0. I received only child support and no others. Thus, James vacated the house, and I returned with our child. James, having nowhere to go, went back to his parents. But then, James contacted me again. Listen, Amelia came back. Oh, isn't that nice for you? But it's not all good news. What happened? Well, James detailed his situation with Amelia. Amelia, you came back? You want me to come back? Of course. But I'm thinking of suing you. Sue me? What do you mean? You promised me that house, saying we would marry, but it never became mine. It's all because you didn't tell me the house belonged to your ex-wife. It's not like I kept it a secret. This is a fraud. What? Fraud? Yes, marriage fraud. You said you'd give me the house, so I went to a hotel with you. But in the end, I got nothing. Well, that's unfortunate. What's unfortunate about it? I never intended to deceive Amelia. I never thought that land belonged to Catherine. I don't care. The deal was the house, and it's different now. But, still. That's why I'm going to sue you. Wait, Amelia. I really love you. Then buy a house for me. Get a house for me. Okay, I'll buy a house. Just wait a bit. How long is a bit? About 5 years. You really will buy a house in 5 years, right? Oh. Of course I will. Then I'll marry you, but if you don't buy a house in 5 years, we're getting a divorce. Okay, okay. James seemed to have blurted out without thinking. How foolish. And to think, you just asked to remarry me because she left. You switch back so easily. Well, if she's back, that's how it goes. Really, you're such a fraudster. Don't say that. Besides, buying a house in 5 years is impossible. Definitely impossible. About the child support. Don't even think about it. Pay it properly. It's your child too. If you don't pay, I'll take you to court. Okay, okay. Calm down. Shut up. My emotions returned after divorcing you, I said and hung up the phone. Divorcing such a pathetic man was definitely the right decision. Afterward, James and Amelia started living at James' parents' house to save money for their own place. However, Amelia's extravagant spending continued to trouble James. Amelia, this bill. What about it? Why are you spending so much? Because I want things. And you want me to stay beautiful, right? That costs money. But we're saving for a house. Just cut back on your own expenses. And so, Amelia kept buying whatever she wanted. However, when she found out that the child support paid to me was funded by loans, she was furious. The reason for her anger seemed to be the fear of losing money for herself. Furthermore, when they couldn't build a house in 5 years, Amelia constantly berated James, leading him to a nervous breakdown and eventually divorce. Left alone, James, unable to work properly, was scolded by his parents, and ended up living alone in a cheap apartment, struggling to pay off his debts. He barely managed to afford proper meals. As for me, I continue to live happily with my family in the house we shared. We're even considering starting a vegetable garden this year. Our peaceful and content life feels truly blissful.